Perhaps this morning you woke up like any other day. The light was soft against the window, the kettle whistled in the kitchen, and the world began its familiar dance. But in the silence of your own home, there was something else. A stillness. A weight that has nothing to do with the body and everything to do with the soul. For the better part of your life, you have been the pillar. The one who provided, the one who guided, the one who bore the brunt of the heavy lifting so that others didn't have to. But now, as the house has grown quiet and the responsibilities have shifted, you find yourself looking in the mirror and asking, who am I, now that no one needs me in the same way? That question, that strange, hollow, and often lonely question is where we begin today. You are not alone in this feeling, and you are certainly not lost. If you know this ache, the ache of a life spent building for others and wondering where you fit into the final chapters, this video is for you. Welcome to Buddha's path to peace. Today, we are going to learn how to let go of the heavy bags you have carried for too long and finally discover the art of living lightly. Just take a breath. Let yourself be here, right now, in this moment. Don't worry about the tasks, the aging, or the expectations of the world outside. Society, and even our own families, often push a narrative that after 70, we should be perpetually content, or perhaps finally enjoying life in a way that looks perfect on a postcard. But often, the truth is much quieter and much more complex. You are carrying a fatigue that goes deeper than the physical. It is the exhaustion of a soul that has spent a lifetime being the one in charge. And when those roles fade, it feels like losing your map in the middle of a forest. Some people might try to tell you to just move on or stay busy or count your blessings. But I want to tell you something else. You don't need to force yourself to move on. Your grief, that sense of displacement, is not a problem to be solved. Think of it as love with nowhere to go. You have so much care left in you, so much capacity to nurture, and because the world has changed, that love feels like it's pooling up, making you feel heavy. We aren't going to fix you today, because there is nothing broken about you. We are simply going to change how you look at the landscape of your life. Let's begin with a fundamental truth, the first of our 8 teachings. You are not the roles you play. Think of a heavy winter coat you have worn for 40 years. It's a sturdy coat. It protected you. It kept you warm when the winds of life were howling. It kept your family safe. This is the parent coat, the provider coat, the responsible coat. But now the weather has changed. The sun is out, the seasons have turned, and that coat is heavy. It's frayed at the edges, and it makes you stumble when you try to walk. Because you have worn it for so long, you have started to believe that you are the coat. When you take it off, you feel exposed. But look closer. The person underneath the coat, the one who feels, who dreams, who still seeks peace, that person is not the coat. That person is you. When you realize you are the wearer, not the garment, everything changes. You don't have to be needed to be valuable. You don't have to be productive to be worthy. Your existence is enough. Like the sky, which remains constant whether the clouds are stormy or clear, your true self is always there, waiting for you to simply be. This is the freedom of non-attachment, realizing that your identity is not tied to your utility. You are, and that is sufficient. There was once a traveler who had walked for miles carrying a massive, rusted iron chest on his back. Inside were his regrets, the heavy judgments of others, the expectations he had failed to meet, and his fear of being forgotten. He was hunched over, his feet dragging through the dust, panting with every single step. He met a wise old sage sitting under the shade of a gnarled oak tree. The sage watched him for a long time, then asked, "My friend, why are you carrying that chest?" The traveler gasped, "Because it's heavy, and I'm terrified to lose what's inside. It's my life." The sage smiled, his eyes twinkling, and said, "Then you are not a traveler, you are a prisoner." The traveler stopped. He looked at the chest, then at the horizon. He realized he had been walking in circles, terrified that if he put it down, he would have no identity left. Slowly, with trembling hands, he unbuckled the straps. The chest hit the ground with a loud, final thud. The man stood tall. His spine cracked. He took a deep, shuddering breath, and for the first time in his life, he saw the golden hue of the sunset instead of the dust at his feet. And what the traveler found is exactly what you are looking for today. You have reached your destination. You do not need to carry the chest anymore. And you? Are you still holding onto the chest, even though you've already arrived? You might be holding on to old relationships that no longer nourish you, just out of habit or obligation. You might be holding on to a house filled with things that belong to a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. We often forget, the clutter in your home often reflects the clutter in your heart. Every object you keep carries a memory, and if those memories are heavy, your home becomes a museum of the past instead of a sanctuary for the present. Ask yourself, does this item, this relationship, or this memory bring me peace today? If the answer is no, it is not a betrayal to let it go. It is a profound act of self-love. You aren't closing doors on your past. You are simply clearing space in your present to finally breathe. And consider the people in your life. Sometimes we keep people in our lives because we think we owe them, or because we've always known them. But Buddhist wisdom tells us that some people are just a chapter in your book. A chapter can be beautiful, it can be painful, but it must end so the next chapter can begin. Holding on when the story has finished only muddies the ink. Let the pages turn. I want to ask you something that you might be afraid to answer. What are you afraid will happen if you finally let go of your worry? Do you fear that if you aren't anxious, you aren't careful? You have permission to feel this weight. You have permission to be tired. You have permission to change your mind about what matters. Here are 3 things that your heart wants you to know. First, your body is not a broken machine. It is your oldest, wisest teacher. Listen when it asks for rest. It is not failing you. It is asking you to slow down. Second, your age is not a decline. It is an accumulation of depth. You are not fading. You are becoming more concentrated. You are the vintage wine, not the leftover grape. Third, the end of your life's busyness is not a death sentence. It is an invitation to finally live for yourself. You did your best with the knowledge you had at the time. It is time to stop shooting yourself with the second arrow of regret. The first arrow is the life event, the loss, the mistake, the choice. That's inevitable. But the second arrow, the daggers of, I should have done better, that is the one you are shooting yourself with. Put the bow down. You have done enough. Before we close, I want to give you a small practice. A way to anchor this into your day. Sit comfortably. Let your hands rest in your lap. Close your eyes if you wish. Breathe in deep and let it all out with a sigh. With every inhale, imagine you are gathering your energy back to yourself. With every exhale, imagine you are unbuckling one strap of that heavy chest we talked about. Repeat these words with me, silently, in your mind. I am not my roles. I am the life within them. I am allowed to be still. I am finally at home. Just stay there. Nothing else needs to be done. You are safe. You are whole. The world will keep turning without your constant vigilance. Just like the traveler who finally looked up to see the sunset, you are now free to see the beauty of the present moment. The roles have served their purpose. The heavy lifting is over. You were created to be here, to witness this life, not to manage it forever. Carry this peace with you. Remember, it is never too late to begin again. Even if you start just for 5 minutes today. May you find the courage to live lightly, starting this very moment. Until we meet again, may you be at peace. If this video brought a moment of quiet to your day, and if you'd like to continue this journey of gentle wisdom, please join our community by subscribing to Buddha's Path to Peace. We are building a space for those who are ready to trade busyness for being. In our next session, we will discuss the art of saying no without guilt, a vital skill for protecting your inner peace when others still expect you to be the pillar. If you are feeling a bit overwhelmed today, I have curated a playlist below called Stillness for the Autumn Years, which might offer you some more comfort. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Be gentle with yourself. Ending. Music fades out slowly. 5 seconds of silence.